This next song is dedicated to all the people on my Twitter page after my little Twitter campaign over the weekend. Thank you so much. Love you too.
You don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. Don't tell me what to say, and don't tell me what to do. Please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. No, you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. Oh, baby, you don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I never said. Don't tell me what to say, and don't tell me what to do. Please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. No, you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. Say you don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I never said. I don't tell you what to say, and I don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. That I'm young, and I look to be young, and I'm free, and I look to be free, to live my life the way I want, to say and do whatever I please. 'Cause you don't own me. Na 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 na. You don't own me. You don't own me.
Redneck. Well, the boys around here don't listen to the Beatles run. Old Bo Cephas threw a jukebox needle at the honky-tonk where their boots stomp all night. What? That's right. Yeah, and what they call work a digging in the dirt. Gotta get it in the ground before the rain come down to get paid, to get the girl in your four-wheel drive. Yeah, the boys around here drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Chew tobacco, chew tobacco, chew tobacco spit. Oh, heck. Well, the boys around here, they're keeping it country. Ain't a damn one know how to do the Dougie. No, I'm not in Kentucky, but these girls around here, yep, they still love me. Yeah, the girls around here, they all deserve a whistle. Shaking that sugar sweet as Dixie Crystal. They like that yawling southern drawl and just can't help it 'cause they just keep falling for the boys around tobacco, chew tobacco, chew tobacco. I'm one of them boys round here, drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here, sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lift. Chew tobacco,
Chew tobacco, chew tobacco, chew tobacco spit. Welcome to the WINGIT call. October 18th, 2016, and look where we are now. Still here waiting, but who knows? Take a knee, please. Lord, thank you for your patience, your wisdom, and your guidance. Protect us, lead us the way, and most importantly, give us your divine grace and forgiveness. Amen. We're not attorneys. We're not financial advisors. We're not CPAs. This is not to be taken as any legal advice. And for the rest of the disclaimer, please go to my website, thewingitcall.com. Click on the disclaimer tab. A PSA. You do not have to have a Twitter account to follow me on Twitter. If you go to my website, thewingitcall.com, the instructions are on the home page there. Just scroll down a little bit and it shows you how to follow me on Twitter without having to have a Twitter account. Thank you for that. And let's see. Oh my goodness, Wingman, would you believe it?
What? There's an Indian reservation inside Reno? No, I wouldn't.
A negative. Participation is up on the web.
What is it? What is?
Our participation on the web is up.
How about that? That's interesting. That's because everybody's waiting for you to backpedal and apologize, I'm sure.
For what?
No.
What did I do?
I can't remember. That was so last week.
Oh, darn it.
No, I wanted to talk about today because it appears the Vatican has released us from Catholic bondage. And
no, say it ain't so.
Yeah. And the Chinese elders are in Reno right now on the Reno Sparks Reservation, which is 4 strip malls that feature Indian smoke shops. I'm sorry. I had to comment. I had to be nasty and elitist about this because that helped the Republic if they can't find people who can at least spell right and know their geography. So, but poor old Bob Dunsford has finally gotten the boot, and Paul Ryan is now president of the Republic, and everything's hunky dory. So we're all good to go. That's my news for today.
That's it?
What else is there? There is no other intel.
No.
There's no intel, folks. Nothing. Nothing. We're waiting.
Star 2 to raise your hand if you want to ask a question. I think Art might have a doctor's appointment. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well,
but stranger things have happened.
That's true. Maybe he'll come in later.
Now I'm waiting for a few more people to raise their hands. That way we can.
Those finicky doctor's appointments, they really are a pain in the neck. Now.
I know it. You're at the beck and call of the Obamacare. Have you read that
yes.
Minnesota is about ready to pull out because everybody else has pulled out of Obamacare up there because it's too expensive? The insurance companies, come January 1st, have lost all government subsidy to make it profitable for them, so they're pulling out.
And I don't know.
Ouch.
I don't quite understand that because, oddly enough, Obamacare is working very well for me. And I've got Blue Cross, and they've got no intention of pulling out. But I don't doubt there are other insurers out there who are having problems because it needs a big fix. There's no two ways about it. And that's not politics. That's just business. You know, it didn't get off on the right foot. There was no cooperation. I'm surprised it got off at all. And it's got to be fixed. And I'm one for throwing the baby out with the bathwater on this one. Start over.
All right. Well, here we go. Q&A day. Raise your hand, or it's going to be a short call. Orlando, come on down. 407.
How you doing this afternoon, Jerry?
Redneck radio at its best.
I hear you. Hey, what do you think about this new twist in the Clinton campaign and the DNC, brother? They got caught with their pants down, didn't they?
You know, you're gonna have to give me a very short. I'm not sure. I've been very busy all morning, and I've missed what you're talking about. Give me a short little synopsis.
The DNC got caught with their pants down for all these Trump campaign riots and things kicking off in the Trump campaign. They've got two guys that were directly paid by the DNC to disrupt the campaign at his rallies. Two groups.
Is this in emails?
No, this is on the news. This is on the news.
We're talking mainstream media news.
Yes, sir. Fox News broke it last night. Sean Hannity broke it last night and went wide open today.
Well,
he broke it last night at 10:30.
Bless his heart and bless their hearts. We know politics has always been dirty.
They only
sure did, and they've got money funding directly from the DNC to these people. Directly from the DNC. Directly. Unbelievable, isn't it?
So I'm sorry, I was reading the text.
Absolutely.
That's right. Let's hope that the media gives it as much airtime as they do Hillary.
Well, my big question is, I'll get to what I wanted to talk about in a second. My big question is, they actually going to prosecute, because that's illegal. That is totally illegal to disrupt any type of political function. Totally illegal. And the money being funneled into it. But that's beside the point. That's all I've got. That's my big point. But anyway, I guess we're just on standby waiting to see what happens. Just waiting to 800 numbers, I guess. Like I said, this thing's coming to a head so fast, and what a great October surprise so far the last 2 weeks, huh? I'm sorry.
No, I got it.
It's unbelievable.
I've got a text. Thank you, sir. So I got a text. I've got to read you, Iko.
Okay.
Sorry, Wingman. Iko needs some smelling salts. If he thinks Obamacare is working, he can move to Canada in 3 weeks as planned. LOL. I'm sorry. I had to read that.
No, I don't need smelling salts. I didn't say it was working. I said it was working for me, for whatever. It's working for me.
Here we go.
It's not working for the rest of the country, but it is working for me, and that's all I care about. All I care about is me. Period.
Exactly. Richland Center, I think it's Wisconsin. Cheesehead, come on down, 608.
Yeah, this is Deb. I just wanted to say Obamacare, my son looked it up. I didn't read it myself, but there is other things that they passed through that, and Obamacare is not a very good situation whatsoever, and nobody should be having Obamacare, as far as I'm concerned, but you'd have to look it up. I'm not sure what all the things that they passed under that law, using that Obamacare for a reason. Anyway, that's all I got to say. So thank you very much. Appreciate your calls.
You're welcome.
Yep, they did. They buried a bunch of stuff in that bill.
Yeah,
But to be fair,
some-
they were both Republicans and Democrats. Buried a lot of pork in that bill. But that's how it works.
Oh yeah.
You know, I will say one thing. Obamacare, for whatever reason, and God only knows what the reason is, but I just went through $168,000 worth of surgery and hospital stays, and I owe the system $1,830. That's it.
Ooh.
So maybe I should contact the White House and say, hey, I'm your new poster boy. You know, maybe I can make a buck out of this.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Of course, for my story, there's probably 100 that are bad. I have a good friend whose wife has multiple sclerosis, and it's a nightmare for them. Not working at all for them. So it's got to be.
Well,
there's no two ways about it.
The best quote ever used to be, "Read my lips, no new taxes." But that has been passed over not once but twice. Second best quote ever. Nancy Pelosi. We've got to pass it to see what's in it, a.k.a. Obamacare. First, bestest quote ever. We will have the most transparent administration ever. Well, you know how that's working. Phoenix, Arizona. Come on down. Phoenix. Oof. Lots of noise there. Phoenix 480. I'll unmute you. You're really noisy. Come on down.
All right. Jerry, I have one thing to ask either you or the wingman, and that is if we hear or see reports that have good information, but at the end they throw in the aliens, the new planets, and all the beings and so forth that aren't part of what I know biblically is the truth, how are you supposed to deal with them?
Dose of salts over the left shoulder, followed by a blue moon.
No. That's hard liquor stuff, Jerry. That is.
That's about as far as you can go with it.
I will say that the 3 14-year-olds that are putting all this out in their mom's basement, they have a kick-ass Nintendo setup.
Hey, you stop moving around. You got a lot of noise there.
Okay, I'm on my headset.
Sir, do you want a serious answer? Because I can give you a serious answer, too.
Serious answer, yeah.
The serious answer is that, look, there's the problem, one of the big problems that we've always faced in DNR land is anybody can step forward and declare themselves an expert and say they have a high-level source and gain a following. People are desperate for any news in a vacuum, and that's what we have here. Is a vacuum of information. Most of it's been disinformation. Most of it, not all of it, but most of it. And it's a credit to all of us that we've got that we actually can weather all this crap we've got to listen to day in and day out, because Executive Order 13303 is real, and these currencies are real. And it also appears that the ZIM is a sovereign bond, and it's very real. It was a latecomer to the process, but of course, it's now the front runner. But you're just going to get that, and you gotta, you just gotta. I don't know how can I say it. It's like I had to drive to the airport yesterday. A 45-minute drive midday took me 2.5 hours at 4:00 in the afternoon because of rush hour. But it's like I had to get to the airport. Therefore, I've got to put up with 2.5 hours of rush hour traffic. And that's how I see DNR land. It's like I know the airport's out there. I know this currency's out there, and I'm going to get wealthy. But you know what? I got to put up with all the rush hour traffic until I get there. What are you going to do? You know, we're stuck with it. We're stuck with all the nonsense. And sometimes it's entertaining, sometimes it's frustrating as all get out. But that we just
well,
have
of course,
to, we have to use common sense.
You guys have both said we have to do our due diligence. We have to find the truth in between all the crap.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
You know,
just
they call that
kind of curious.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All righty, sir.
God bless
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I think this is the land down under. Is this the land down under?
I think so. Do I sound upside down?
No, but you're usually when you call in, you don't have a name or a city.
Oh,
to go
it's
with it.
yeah. They don't give us that option. I call in on a teleconference number here and put in the ID for the call, and I think that's how it works. And
do
there's
the toilets down there actually swirl counterclockwise?
I'm sorry. Is it what?
Do the toilets actually swirl counterclockwise?
The opposite way.
How about that?
Yeah.
See?
And,
I was going to tell you that if you go to Instant Teleseminar, there's actually I think they have a local number you can call in Australia to get to this call and just put in the ID code to save you a long distance call or anything like that.
I think that's true, but Iko, just to check.
Mm-hmm. Oh
yes.
See. So for all you science deniers, there really is gravity. So.
yeah, exactly. I was going to bring this up the other day because I thought it was appropriate, and then I ended up not getting on the call. But I think that the concept that I've kind of held on to is that each day we're a day closer, and that's the only thing that I can look at as to trying to keep my sanity at the same time of wondering, I know at some point it has to go. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I guess there are some that say, no, it doesn't, but I believe it does. And so each day we're a day closer, and I've kind of used that time I started purchasing some yuan, and the local banks down here have it. So I started doing that, and I've been watching the rates and so forth, and they've stayed pretty stable. And the monetary situation in Australia, now the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar are pretty close. And there was a great disparaging gap between the two as recently as last year. So the monetary shuffling is happening. And I happened to, the other day, quite by accident, I was seeing a young man who'd injured an ankle, and his dad happened to work for one of the big banks here and happened to be in the international division of it. So I asked him, I said, how is it that the control of the value of the New Zealand dollar is what I used as an example. And it's all based on business and the ability for exports, because everybody wants their value low so that exports will make money. And that's what they feel runs the show. And unfortunately, I think, at least this is just my opinion, the average person is the one who is least advantaged by that. They ship. When I lived in the States, I was from Western Washington, and we sent raw logs to the Orient, by the boatload, for years. And all that was unprocessed. And New Zealand's making the same mistake. They're sending all their logs to the Orient to be milled, and then they send them back. And so the profit of a few is at the expense of the many, at least in my opinion. But anyway, I wanted to throw that in, and the idea that I get a little sideways when somebody talks about the aliens running the show and so forth. So I don't quite get into that too much, but I think, like you said, if you can sift through the information, sometimes there's some value there.
Well, you know, on that note, I'm a long time. Well, my whole family's been involved with boats and fishing and things like that for generations. But I just got a call from a broker the other day. I had, you know, when we all thought this was going to go 2 years ago, I got in touch with a guy about building me a new building. And he still, of course, now I'm on his list. I'm on his radar. So he calls me every once in a while, and he called me the other day. And he said, you know, on big ticket items like yachts, we're down 25% from where we were last year. I said, really? Now, this is a British manufacturer, boat manufacturer. And he said on things like that, on luxury items, it is now 25% cheaper than it was last year to have your boat built in Britain. And he was asking me, would that entice me to get my build underway? And then he said on top of that, the 58-footer we've been using as a show model for the past year, we now want to get rid of it. So, you know, we'll knock an additional chunk of money off of that. So a $2.8 million boat could be bought for $1.5 million. And on things like on large items, we're seeing the move already toward revaluation. Now that's not the same as the RV, but you know, the world trade in the grand scales of world trade are absolutely moving in the new direction. And if you follow oil, what you will notice is since OPEC announced that they had come to at least their new agreement in spirit. It hadn't been completely refined, but ever since that announcement, oil jumped up to around $50, and it's been hovering back and forth now for the last month, maybe over 4 weeks, between $50 and $52. And gold is also staying. Every once in a while, there's a spike, which means some fat cat, you know, unloading a lot of gold or manipulating it. But gold in general has stayed within this $20 range now for months. Of course, waiting for the revaluation because and there's speculation either gold's going to double or it's going to cut in half. And there's both camps out there, and they both got their reasons for doing it. But if you follow stuff like that, if you look like that in the logging industry, I know a little bit about that because I used to have an architectural interiors firm. We did a lot of importing from especially teak from Burma and things like that when it was legal to do so. Those big ticket items are absolutely changing values. And if you look at the big corporate mergers, things that Monsanto's trying to do, again, it points toward a consolidation because they're feeling a pinch as well. They get it. Their days are numbered. So they want to move into other businesses. You know, still related, international, but they're no longer focused on seed and fertilizer. So if you look at the business end of this thing, it really has, the last year there's been tremendous movement across the board internationally. And we get focused on these little, you know, we get tunnel vision because again, we're not world-class financiers and traders and whatnot and industrial. So we tend to focus on whatever's hot for whatever the week or the month is. But overall, the world has been making big shifts in how it operates and how it does trade. You know, forget about PPP and all the popular diversions. You got to look at the rest of the planet, what the Chinese are doing, what India is doing, what Africa as a continent is doing. These are where when you focus, this is where you see the movement happening and all the support for the GCR and the ORB. So yeah, what I totally agree with what you're talking about. It just you just got to learn how to see it, I guess.
Well, thank you, Down Under.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome, Jerry. And just so I don't forget, so my sister doesn't get mad at me, Montesano, Washington, Aberdeen, Washington, Sarasota, Florida, and St. Pete, Florida. Hi from Down Under. And keep up the good work. I enjoy it. I got a kick out of your little Twitter war, and thought that seems to be in the wind nowadays. But all the best, Jerry, Iko, Art. Thanks for everything, and I'll keep listening as I always do. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
You too.
You bet. Bye.
So if you'll carry this for a little bit, on this next caller, I've got to tend to some quick business. Inglewood, come on.
New Jersey?
California.
Oh.
310. Inglewood, 310.
How's it going, Jerry?
Good. Iko's going to take it for just a minute. I'll be back in just a minute.
Okay. How you doing there, Iko? I've never called. I used to listen a lot, and I've got completely discouraged. I want to ask a question. I was telling my girl the other day, I was going to throw all of my Zim away, and she said, "Well, at least call and ask this question."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well,
let me give you an address where to throw it away."
And she said, "Well, at least before you do that, at least call and ask the question." And I said, "Well, if I make a call, it's going to be to this Iko guy, because he seems to be, of all these people that I've been listening to for the last 7 years, he seems to be the only one that's real. I mean, no nonsense, no BS. So here's my question for you, Iko. 2 years ago, I was told that in a year, the Zim was going to expire. The AA 2008 is what I got. And last year in September was the anniversary date for that. Did that happen? Was that true?
No. See, people didn't understand the Zim when we first started buying it. Everybody thought it was a currency. Okay? But it's not a currency. It's a sovereign bond. It's actually a bond note. And so it doesn't behave like currencies behave. There are currencies that they do put expiration dates on. And we're not involved with any of them. None of that's happening yet. It probably will down the road. But the Zim notes cannot expire. They can only be taken back by the issuer, by the bond issuer, which in this case is the Chinese, actually.
I see.
Zimbabwe doesn't have a currency right now. They do not have a national currency. It's like an open black market. If people want dollars, they use dollars. If they want yuan, they use yuan. If they want francs, they use francs. So the Zim is a very unique animal. It's a remnant of the bearer bond market, which was super popular right before World War II. That's how everything was done. And in essence, that's what you got. You're holding one of those 100 trillion 2008 AA notes. You're actually holding a bond voucher. That's what you're holding. And it's not going to expire. What they want to do is they want to collect all of them so that they're gone, so that they can't suddenly pop up. And I don't even know if it's legal for them to expire a bearer note like that. I don't have expertise in that area at all, but I don't think it is. I think that's why bearer bonds were so popular prior to World War II, especially in Europe, because the Nazis were stepping up and stealing everything, and people were trying to figure out how to protect their wealth. And and the bearer bond was one of the ways to do that, because you can produce incredible amounts of money into these, basically a briefcase full of paper. But don't worry, your Zim is real. I know it's fantastic, and I know it's hard to wrap your brain around it. Even if it only comes out at 1 cent, and they lock off the 6 zeros, which is a possibility, guys. I mean, we all got to face that. But the return on it, I mean, what did you spend? $49 or $39 for a 100T note, maybe even less if you bought it early, and you're still gonna get $10 million. It's just it's hard to wrap your brain around. But these are the secrets that have been withheld from everybody for eon.
Right. Got it.
But the stuff's out there. So
got it.
Don't let anybody talk you into giving that away. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'll keep it now. This is my last question forever, and I'll just listen until the RV. I was also told that there is now please forgive my ignorance and feel free to treat me like a third grader here, because it's probably what you're going to have to do, and you probably just answered this question. But somebody told me that there is a difference between what I have and a Zim bond. And if I have a bond, it is the wrong thing. And I need to get rid of that and get the note. Now, are there two different things, two different papers here? I mean,
there are other bonds. Remember what a bond is, okay? The country wants to build roads, right? So they sell a bond. And the idea is that they finance the building of the roads, and when they build the roads, the country's going to make more money. Therefore, it's going to be able to repay that bond down the line with interest because the economy's better. Okay, so there may there may be other Zimbabwe bonds out there, but I don't know of any. The big scam in the whole currency RVGCR world is that it's a scam. The scam is people saying it's a scam. It's real. We weren't supposed to be here. That's also very real. There were supposed to be like 2,000 people that were going to benefit from this, and now we're up to what, 40,000, something like that. Not just on Zim, but on currency, and that's been part of the delay as well. Not the delay. I don't want to use that word. The steps required to move forward. They had to keep those steps had to keep accommodating more and more people, and the system, when it was designed 50 years ago, wasn't considering these numbers of people. They were thinking, okay, we got 2,000-3,000 people we're going to have to process when the RV comes out. And of course, it took off like crazy. So, but every one of us, especially with your Zim. Now, also, do you have your receipt for your Zim?
Do I have one?
I'm back.
Okay. Do you have your receipt for your Zim?
Yes, I do have a receipt. Yes.
Okay. You have to take them to your Zim swap. Okay.
Okay.
Because it's a bond, it's handled different than currency. It's a hybrid bearer bond. They still want to know who they're giving all this money to in a big way. It's not to say that you wouldn't eventually get your money. You would, but if you can very simply prove ownership by having your receipt and proving you are who you say you are, that's going to streamline your process. So don't, and for all you folks who are gifted Zim, you need to get a copy of the receipt from the person who gifted you that currency. That's not to say that you're not going to be able to eventually get your money, but it's going to simplify the process, and they're going to be really, really strict about that because they don't want the money going to money launderers and gun runners and dope dealers.
Got it. Well, I love you guys. Thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
Yep.
Well, hold on. I
Yes,
have
sir.
a question.
Yes, sir.
That one that you're talking about, is that one of those purple notes that says pay to the bearer? Something about and it's got a date on it, says that it's going to go out of date?
No, it just has to the left. It literally says $100 trillion.
Okay. There's some ones that say bearer check. That's
right.
what I was thinking about.
You know what, Jerry? That came up, and that's what he said. That's actually what they said. If it has check on it, then that's not what we want. Is that?
Well, you know what? Don't listen to anybody. Like Tony says, nothing beats a failure but a try. Take it all in there. Don't throw it away. Walk in there, throw it down there, and have somebody say, no, we're not accepting that.
Okay. Well, I have to hurry up and go and get it out of the fireplace because I started burning it.
Oh, well, go get it. Bye.
Get it. Thanks, guys.
Lost Wages, Nevada. Oh, darn it. I just put your hand down. Put your hand back up. Lost Wages, Nevada. Cannon City, Colorado. Come on down. Las Vegas, I accidentally put your hand down. Put your hand back up. Cannon City, Colorado, 719. Come on down. Now we'll get back to them in a minute. Lost Wages. It's your turn.
Sure, hang up on me. I don't care.
There you go.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
Hey, $64 million question. I just, I try not to get on Dinar recaps much anymore, just like to listen to you guys and one or two other. But they're saying that this should, I guess they told Iraq, but of course Iraq has nothing to do with this anymore, so we've been told. But they said that they had to have this done before November. Do you think this thing will definitely pop before November? What's your take on it, guys?
The people that know the date refuse to share it with either Wingman or myself or any other intel provider / guru out there, no matter what type of contact they have. So I hate to say, we don't know. I don't know. Wingman doesn't know. We'd like to say yes, but unfortunately, we don't know.
Okay, well,
it's
that's
not,
what I need.
It's not about a date so much as it is about the process completing. And there are steps in the process. I was just talking about this with the other caller. One of the things that we're looking at is the beneficiaries have grown tremendously. So there's a lot more people and a lot more steps that have to be processed in order for the final step, which is, the retail guys, us, walking into the bank and exchanging our currencies. So so it's not so much about these back wall dates. I think all these were just, whether well intentioned or not, they were just wishful thinking. It seemed logical that if this step is now complete, they should be able to complete this final step, which is us going to the bank, in another few weeks. And that's where people are trying to apply logic and deductive reasoning to something that there simply isn't any information on. So the good news is the process it's been moving all along, but it's been in the final stages now for months. And we're almost there. And when people say it could go tonight, they're not exactly wrong. In fact, they're not wrong. It could go tonight. It probably isn't, but it could. And, should it go by the end of the month? Deductive reasoning says, yeah, it should because everything else has been completed, But what we don't know is there something else in there that has to be completed that nobody let us in on? That's happened a few times. And they, they just didn't tell us. Oh yeah, all that's done, but this has to get done too. And they're not scamming us. They're not being bad guys about it. They're simply not giving out that kind of information because there are so many bad guys who could make use of that kind of information. That probably just confused the whole issue, but that's the
okay. Well, all right, guys. Let's just hope this site goes sooner the better, I guess. But anyway, have a great day, guys, and God bless.
Okay.
Hold on just a second. Okay. Lost Wages is out of here. Houston, can you hear me now? 281.
Yeah, Jerry,
Houston.
the same old stuff again. It just appears that everybody wants to know when it's going to roll out. Ray Wren said he thought November 1st was the back wall. I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of friends, and they're wondering it's going to be 2017. At this point in time, I'm wondering if it's going to be this decade, the way things are going. There's always a reason. I mean, saying it's a process, that process will be going on for days, weeks, months, years. And I don't know. I'm so darn frustrated. I remember 3 years ago, Tony, I used to listen diligently. I still like the guy, believe me. But the thing is, he said, so people would say, well, what are the chances of going tonight? He always comes, there's 99%. We're on the 1 inch line. That was 3 years ago. And now we got the Cabal and we got the PTB, and I think what's going to happen is, I hate to be so pessimistic, I don't think it's going to go this year. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to have a call tonight with Bruce, and it's going to be a nice, typical, very good, feel-good call, and he's going to say everything's ready to go. It's not going to happen. And I just think, I don't know what to say. I said, I'm the voice of frustration with probably at least 75% of the people here, I think. And I know everybody wants to say, yes, this is going to happen. And tell you the truth, I was actually very positive when you told me, because of your fault, Disney Bear said 100% was going to happen Saturday night. I mean, I thought, okay, maybe that's going to happen. Didn't happen. I'm glad you kind of put that tweet out beforehand, because at least at that time, at least I said it was not going to happen. But I was going to make changes in my plans. I said, well, it's going to happen, but I'm not going to. I was going to make it a weekend trip, and I decided now I don't think I will, because it's going to go out. I want to get on the call. Didn't happen. So no matter what anybody says, I think the newest call words is it's a process. Well, this process could go on forever. There's always something in there, and I think that the Cabal and PTB are extremely powerful, much more powerful than anybody else. I mean, they've been holding this thing up, if they're the ones, for years. I mean, and it's going to go on and on. And I just would like maybe Iko or someone give me some kind of, it's always encouragement, that it's going to happen relatively soon. The people are just ready. I mean, people are losing their houses, dying, and everything else. And
sure. Well, hold on. Breathe. Okay.
Yeah, breathe.
So I'm going to go ahead and mute you. I understand your frustration. You are speaking for everybody, including myself. And I hate this next statement. Hold on. Well, let me say this.
Okay.
From an old 70s movie with David Carradine. Patience, grasshopper. Patience. Go ahead, Iko. Oh, wait. One more. I got to do a little shout out. Hey, Miracle Queen. See you on the web there. How you doing? Glad you're listening. Go ahead.
I was just thinking about her today. Now, what I wanted to say to the last caller is, here's some solid evidence for you, okay? The Paris Accord could not have occurred without the the entire 208 GCR participating nations in agreement and signing off on it. That's one of the first. That's a major piece of evidence that this thing has been happening behind the scenes. If you read the accord and you read the parts about financing and you read the parts about empowering emerging nations and all that, that is GCR language. That's what it is. And you can't have GCR language without a GCR. And you can't have 208 nations signing off on the Paris Accord unless they know the GCR is in place in some way, shape, or form, because they don't have the money to sign off on an accord like that. They've got to have that GCR in place in order to make that thing happen. So that's one of those big events that is all about what we're waiting for as an RV GCR event that can't be in place now without the initial GCR also being in place, without the initial RV happening April 1st last spring. There's evidence like that. What it does is it doesn't translate down to you and me being able to go into the bank and hand on over a $25,000 dinar note and buying beer and pizza. And that's where we all get hung up, because that's not what this thing is about. We are a sideline, believe it or not. Even with all that Zim money out there, we're a sideline. We are not the main event. And like it or not, nobody gives a rat's you know what about us and our problems when you look at the rest of the world. So by all means, keep the faith. Hang in there. Because it is happening.
Absolutely.
It's just not happening. It's not happening the way they told Tony it would happen. And a lot of us still rely on that old model that Tony put out. Not that Tony was being a bad guy or DC was being a bad guy either, but that was a very simplified kindergarten version of the RV.
Well, let's take a caller on the web. Howie, come on down.
Hey.
Hey,
so how do we know for certain? I mean, excuse me for asking this, Iko, but I mean, how do we know for sure that the Zimbabwe currency is indeed a bond? I mean, how has that been proven to you? That's my first question. And my second question is that denomination dependent, or it's irregardless?
Well, I'm sorry, you're breaking up pretty bad.
You're breaking up there, Howie.
Last
portion.
There it is. What was the second part of your question? How do we know it's how do we know it's real?
Right. How do we know for sure if it is real, which I'm assuming it is it denomination?
Yeah, you're still breaking up.
Does it depend on
what do you mean? What do you mean denomination? I don't understand.
Does it matter the size of the bill? $1 billion, $1 trillion, $100 trillion, a $50 trillion note, a $500 million?
They put that if we're going to go underneath the assumption that this is the currency we hold is real, they're the ones that issued it, and we're the ones that are going to redeem it. So if they printed it, we're going to take it.
And it's funding. Well, no, that's a no-fly zone. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know how frustrating this is for everybody, because back when I wasn't included in certain circles, I get real frustrated too.
Just that's probably a question that we can't answer.
We can't go there. We can't go there.
Okay. How about why does it show, even though it's a suspended currency, why does it show as have a valuation on XE.com? Is there a reason? Rationale?
If I may pull a New York moment here, XE.com is full of crap. Don't go there. it's like they're a bunch of fantasy mongers along with everybody else. I mean, God, that unfortunately there's nothing you can do about it. They get to do whatever they want. But first of all, the ZIM is not a discontinued currency. What we hold is not currency. It is a bond voucher. Okay, number one. Zimbabwe has no currency. Okay, it is a complete, even on a national level, it is a black market. If people want to buy things for yuan, they'll use yuan. If they want to buy it for U.S. dollars, they'll use U.S. dollars. If they want to use euros, they'll use euros. There's no currency in Zimbabwe. There's just none. And that's Mugabe. That's why DC hates Mugabe. He was a big impediment to that nation not developing. That's a sidebar. Maybe we'll put it this way. What's under the ground in Zimbabwe is not gold and it's not oil. It's rare earth metals that we're going to need to power light ships to other galaxies. And I'm not talking about the frickin' galactics and all that crap. I'm talking about hardcore science. The fuel, the metals that are going to produce the fuel, that are going to produce the propulsion systems for our future spacecraft. Guess where they all are? Zimbabwe. And you put a value on that. Try to put a value on that.
Thank you for your question.
Okay.
So, Iko, I want you to make, because I can't remember, you had a perfect way of saying it, then we'll go on to the next caller. What is that statement that Shell Oil made to Hitler when they did their, could you make that statement, please?
Yeah. This is a great lesson in how the world really works, okay? So the Nazis in 1938 commissioned Shell Oil, a British company, who also, just so you know, supplied them with 90% of their crude oil up until 1943. Figure that one out, okay? They're bombing London, and at the same time, Shell is selling the raw crude oil to keep the Nazi war machine humming. But that's another sidebar. But so they commissioned Shell to do an evaluation of, at the time it was called Rhodesia, okay? And when the guy made the presentation to the Nazis, the Shell Oil exec, he started the conference off by saying, Rhodesia is a pool of liquid gold in a solid platinum basin floating on a sea of oil. That's how many raw resources, which at the time were important, pre-World War II.
Surrounded by
gold, platinum, and oil.
Yep.
And that it was the highest concentration to date. Now we know that there's other oil deposits out there and other gold and et cetera. Zimbabwe's it really is. It's a gigantic pool of wealth and resources, and not only just for now, but in over the next centuries, it's going to become a very important place.
Mm-hmm. So let's try this again. Cannon City, Colorado. Come on down. 719.
Hello, Jerry. Iko.
Howdy.
You can hear me now. I had my phone muted before. I'm sorry about that. I've got a question about my ZIM. I got it about 6 years ago. It's the AA 2008 series. But I was on Long Island visiting my daughter, and she asked if I would give this missionary couple a ride to Kennedy. And I did, and as a laugh, they gave me a 50 trillion ZIM note. So I don't have any receipts. Is that going to be an issue when I? Go ahead.
I don't think it is, because you have just a single note. It's not like you've got a bunch of them, and I think that's going to be the difference. There's a gentleman that I know.
There's something said there. Yeah.
There's a gentleman that I know that was over in Iraq, but he was not a soldier. He was over there as a civilian contractor, and he doesn't have a receipt for his because he just walked up to the Iraqis and gave them some money and bought it off of them. What I was going to tell him is just show your passport where you're at and how you acquired it, and with that should be enough, even though you don't have receipts. By explaining where you're at with your passport and its markings, you should be good.
Yeah, my understanding is it's not that you won't get your exchange for like that $50 trillion note, but it might take them a little longer to clear it. That's all. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not going to get burned, but it's not going to be as smooth sailing as if you got all your documentation and all lined up and boom. That's
well, I've got it on my other currencies, that's for sure, but I didn't have it on that. And
you've got a good story too. So if you're 100% legitimate on everything else, and you say, oh, by the way, this is what happened. That's not going to be a big deal. Remember, they want to get the Zim off the street. They want to hydrate those bond notes because the money that gets spread around is going to do a lot of good for a lot of people. That's
all righty, sir.
That's a good way of saying it.
All right. Well, hey, and one more thing, Jerry. You still there?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yep. I'm shipping sauce today.
Oh, absolutely.
I've made 80 quarts this last couple of days, and I'm shipping it today. So.
And you know what? I will give you an honest opinion.
All right. I'd send you some too, Iko. Maybe one of these days I'll get it to you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye.
So, Miami. Do we want to talk to Miami? Sure, why not?
You always want to talk to
Miami. 786. Miami.
Hello. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
How you doing? Listen, Jerry, I was wondering, I know that Donald Trump is talking about redoing all the contracts and agreements with all the countries. Do you think that the fear that he may want to take a look at all this stuff all over again and change the way this is going is one of the reasons why they really don't want to take a dive into letting this go before the 8th?
Nah, I don't think so. No, I go just maintain. Okay. Ooh. You're pretty noisy there. No, I don't think that's going to be part of no. To answer your question there. You're pretty noisy, ma'am, so we're going to go on to somebody else. Arlington, Texas. Last 4 is 5701. Come on down.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a question about the new GCR and Nasara. With that Nasara, all debt is supposed to be paid, national and personal debt. What's our role as for our friends and family? Because the debt is already paid. Seems like to me that they should go more into debt since it's only forgiven anyway.
Okay, thank you, sir. Go ahead, Iko.
You know what? Rephrase this question because it broke up for me.
he was talking about Nassar. If everything's paid, including friends and family, what should we do?
What should we do?
I think so. Hold on here. Let me see.
In other words, if all debt gets resolved.
Hold on. I'm gonna unmute him.
Okay.
Okay. Repeat your question, sir, because you're pretty noisy there. Arlington. Hello, Arlington.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
And my question is, with the Nassar taking over, it says that all personal and national debt would be paid. So I was asking, what was our role as humanitarian for our friends and family if their debt is already paid? And what are we to do? I mean, it would make more sense to go in more debt. This is going to be forgiven anyway.
Did you hear that, Iko?
No, I'm not getting it.
Yeah,
he's not getting it.
Sir, I'm sorry. I know where you're at, and I don't want to say that. So we'll try to get to it. Oh, here's a oldie but goldie. Rodeo Drive. Come on down.
Good morning. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
Good.
I think good. I'm glad to hear that. I think what the gentleman was saying before was if everybody, according to whatever, all the debts and everything are supposed to be given away or are supposed to be paid and honored, then what are we supposed to be doing as humanitarians? Well, we make sure that we don't let it get lopsided again, and we make sure that things are taken care of on a more spiritual basis than what has been going on. At least that's what I thought his question dealt with.
That's one answer. I'll give you another one. There's 22 vets taking their own lives every day, either from drug addiction, direct suicide, alcohol abuse, whatever. Okay, to treat those men, my research shows would cost close to, just on average, about $120,000 a year to treat one of those men. So take 22 times $120,000 a year times how many veterans we have in crisis. And there's something you can do with your money. You can fund genuine rehabilitation and integration. Not what the VA is doing, not what Wounded Warriors is doing, but genuine rehabilitation and support for those men. There's $1 trillion right there. Okay, that's one thing you can do with your money. You can move. What is it? 80 million people off the floodplain of the Pacific Rim, because, like it or not, guys, the caps are melting. I don't care who caused it. They're melting. Sea level is rising, and when sea level rises 2 feet, it's going to displace 80 million people. What are you going to do with all those people? Just let them drown? I don't think so. That's bad business to let that many people drown. Forget about the humanitarian effort. So how about you move those 80 million people somewhere and give them housing and give them a new start on life? What's that? $20, $30 trillion? How about we fix Haiti once and for all, instead of using it as one of the biggest charity scams on the planet? There are so many uses for this wealth. You just look in any direction of the compass and choose your mission.
Cool. All right. Okay.
Regenerate the rainforest.
There you go.
Baltimore.
Make
all water public property. It just goes on and on and on.
Baltimore, Maryland, come on down. Baltimore. Yo, Baltimore, 410. Well, we can tell they're not paying attention.
Nope.
Hastings, Michigan, 269. Come on down.
Hello, Jerry. Iko.
Redneck Radio.
Say, I have just a comment to make, if I may. If Tier 1 has been paid and Tier 2 has been paid and Tier 3 has been paid and we've been moved to Tier 4, how come we've got to make ready for Mosul to be taken before we can get paid?
Because Iraq is a distraction. It's a theatrical play of real life. It's just all part of the process. Look at the bigger picture, because it's not all about Iraq, but they use that to distract us.
Well, I'm not looking
Tier
at
1,
gift
2, and
horse
3
in
have
the
not
mouth.
been paid. You understand that? That's a falsehood.
I'm not
Tier
looking
1.
at gift horse in the mouth.
Right.
I paid pennies for my currency, and I'm going to be getting millions for them. And I just thank God for the opportunity, and we shall persevere, and we will have patience, grasshopper. Thank you, sir.
Relax, grasshopper. Thank you, sir.
We'll have patience. A horde of locusts will have patience.
And I must do another PSA. I want to say thank you to Dinar Daly over there with Kenny and Nick Giamarino for actually putting up the web link for the day on every call. Thank you for the PSA. Appreciate that. Last caller of the day. North Bend, 425. Come on down.
I don't have a question today, but I want to say thank you very much for a super call. I love it when you give us information, for example, about the treasures that are in Zimbabwe and, the other, Rhodesia and that sort of thing, because it certainly gets my wheels turning as far as future investments and things like that, and as well who to pray for. So thank you very much, and whenever you can push it as far as you can to the edge of no man's land where you can't talk about anymore, I would just welcome more information like that. So thank you very much for today's call.
Oh, you're welcome. Iko, you missed it earlier. I had played a song for everybody from over the weekend that showed me all their love on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'd like to play it for you. Do you have just a minute? I do. I just want you to, and everybody.
Just before you play the song, though, I just want to give a shout out to Miracle Queen.
Oh yes.
I hope she's doing well. I know she was having a couple of little health problems, but when this is all said and done, and we are sitting around the campfire talking about the good old days in Dinar Land, Miracle Queen, your name will be one of them.
Absolutely, because whether you believe it or not, girlfriend, you are a staple of Dinar Land. So here we go. This is my song that Iko missed, and it's my I Love You song from all the people over Twitter over the weekend. Here we go. Listen to the words.
one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. Don't tell me what to say, and don't tell me what to do. Please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. No, you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. Oh, baby, you don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I never.
Just a little something, not the whole song. You don't own me. All right, Iko, got a question for you.
All right. Yes.
What is the most famous last words of the day?
Goodbye.
And thank you, everybody, for allowing me the privilege again to bring you a little intel and be the spokesperson and the Denarland Police for the people that always keep calling it in the voice of reason. Thank you for that privilege, and goodbye.
The conference is now completed. Goodbye. Welcome to the conference.